Board of Commissioners, District 1. This forum is designed to educate the citizens of Pitt County and for us to be well informed concerning the candidates who are racing to be our next elected representatives. Thank you, candidates, for your time to allow us to get to know you better. God bless your campaign. We encourage everyone to study the candidate's platform, ask questions, hold them accountable, pray, and also vote consciously. This forum will be live streamed on the Awesome Radio website at www.wbisawesomeradio.org, also on the Awesome Radio Facebook page and the Awesome Radio YouTube channel. Live streamed also on the GPAC TV 23 Facebook page, and to play back later on the GPAC 23 Greenville Pitt Access Television Channel 23 on Suddenlink Cable and on the GPAC TV 23 Roku channel. Learn more about GPAC TV 23 at www.gpactv23.org. And also remember, the May 17th, 2022 elections will determine who will be our next Greenville City Council representative and mayor. Good morning again and welcome to this forum. We will open up with prayer by Prophetess Deborah Bailey.
Thank you very much. Greetings and blessings to Miss Akila Thigpen, WBLS Awesome Radio 106.9 family, to the Greenville City Council candidates for District 1, District 2, and District 3, Pitt County Board of Commissioners candidates, District 1, and the candidates for mayor. Can we please have a moment of silence in respect to the people of Ukraine? Let us pray. Most holy and righteous God, we invite you into this forum to use the mouthpiece of those that are speaking and to anoint the ears of the hearers to receive what is being spoken. Father, you are the only one who knows the heart of man. You are the only one who can prepare us for the future. We trust you in all of our ways, and we acknowledge you that you will direct our path. We ask that you give us people who are after your heart. We ask that you lead us by your wisdom and your knowledge on who we should elect to lead us. And Father, we thank you always for giving us this right to cast our vote. We praise your name forever and ever. This is our prayer in the holy and mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Again, this is a friendly forum event, and it is not a debate event. We will not tolerate character attacks from candidate to candidate, from audience to candidate, from moderator to candidate, from candidate to moderator. No campaigning inside the forum room. No handing out campaign literature inside the forum room. No campaign signs, banners inside the forum room. These activities may be done in the lobby or outdoors, but not in the actual forum room. If there is only one candidate on the platform, then that candidate will have the floor for 8 minutes, to include the 1-minute introduction and the 1-minute closing. The timekeeper will be seated on the floor in front of the candidates to set the times on the digital clock. If the candidate is in the middle of a sentence when the time buzz, they will be allowed to complete those 1 or 2 sentences. If candidate continues to speak past their time, then the moderator will bring order back. And also remember, the May 17th, 2022 elections will determine who will be our next Greenville City Council representative and also mayor. The forum format. Order of generic questions from left to right, then right to left. 1-minute timed introduction, left to right, from each candidate on the platform. Questions from the audience, if applicable. Ushers will collect the questions and proofread before handing to the moderators. If no questions from the audience, then the moderators will ask their prepared questions. 2-minute timed response from each candidate. 1-minute timed closing remarks, right to left, from each candidate. We encourage the audience to please have their questions for the candidates ready and before the candidates step down. All audience questions will be read by the moderators. We reserve the right to not present questions that are against the forum rules. Also, during transition times, if there are any elected officials present who does not have an election in 2022 or may be a Pitt County Board of Education official, they will be asked to stand and announce themselves. They will not have a mic. So let's begin. The candidates for Greenville City Council District 1, please take the stand at this time. The moderators for today will be Mr. Jermaine Columbus and also Miss Renee Boston Hill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to start with just giving you 1 minute to talk about yourself, your platform, and we're going to start from the left with Ms. Monica Daniels, Councilwoman.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak this morning. I'm Monica Daniels. I currently sit on the District 1 City Council seat. I was born in Greenville, North Carolina, but raised in New York City. My summer spent in North Carolina let me know that this is a place I wanted to call home. So when I became in my early 20s, I returned to North Carolina to raise my family. I've been on the council for 3 years now. In that time, I've learned a lot, and I've also learned that I have a lot to learn. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Shiver, William Shiver, we're going to ask that you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. My name is William Shiver. I'm a relative. I've relatively been in Pitt County all my life. I was born here. I went to high school here, and I'm a graduate of Elizabeth City State University. I've also been working in the community all my life. Started some first of its kind in the nation all day out of school suspension programs. Worked in the community during COVID, aside from my regular business, which is a mental health business for the last 15 years here. I'm really excited about being here today because Greenwood is growing so great, so much, and I want to be a part of the growth. And we do have some growing pains, and I like to participate in some parts of the solution.
Thank you to both candidates. So we're going to move on to a general question session here. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question that will be put on the table. We will start with candidate Schreiber.
Okay.
The question that we have for you today is, affordable housing is a growing topic due to the recent rise in inflation. How do you create more affordable housing for all in District 1 and not just those who may be below the poverty line?
Well, first of all, my efforts would be to increase the collaboration between city officials and the residents in the district and throughout Greenville, primarily because when decisions are made, they should be made more openly so that the community people can have more feedback. And the part about inclusion is very important, because if we don't communicate what's going on throughout the nation, throughout the community, the equal distribution of revenue would not be spread in a way that it would affect positively with all residents.
Thank you, candidate Schreiber. Same question to candidate Daniels.
I would reach out to some of our developers. You know, one thing that we've done and that we're proud of is that we've established 4 affordable housing in Lincoln Town, and that was by collaborating with the builders. Their pricing, what they bring to the table. So working with others, community collaboration is very important as we move forward. Being a recipient of affordable housing, I know that everyone who wants a part of that American dream should be able to have it. So I would work incredibly hard for that.
Thank you, candidate Daniels.
All righty, next general question for 2 minutes to be answered by both. The infrastructure bill has passed, and there should be money coming into the communities. Starting with you, Mr. Schreiber, how would you spend that infrastructure money in your community, in your district?
Well, first of all, I believe that when we do comprehensive studies to find out where the needs are specifically throughout the community, those can be target areas and higher on the priority list than those areas that may have already been developed, and work through the council with the developers and others to see that the community grows and looks the same from one end of town to the other.
Okay.
Same
I
question.
am totally in agreement with that statement. I'd also like to say that it's important that we look and recognize things that are being built now. We have the Build Grant coming forth to ensure that West Greenville is not left out of the mix. Funding has come in and north of the river, so it's time to expand our community center there, so it looks like all the other community centers within Greenville. I think it's important that not only that we sit behind this table, but go out into the community, see what the needs are, bring that back to the table, and be a voice for those who are out there.
Thank you to both candidates. So now we're going to move on to more of a personalized question session. Each candidate will still have 2 minutes to answer these questions. We will start with candidate Daniels.
Okay.
The question that we have for you is support people who want to work but face societal barriers is one point in your economic development list of issues. How do you propose the community can help with this support?
I think it's important, again, community collaboration. Our community colleges, you know, we really do sleep on trade schools. I graduated from Barton College in Wilson, but also attended Pitt Community College. I was able to go there that first year and a half, and so it didn't take as long when I went to Barton. So I think knowing the resources that are in the community, establishing educational centers within our community centers so that those without transportation and those without internet can have access to those items as well. As a social worker, I know it's important in order for your life to change and for you to move forward. You need to know what those resources are. You need to know that you have support within the community.
Thank you, Candidate Daniels. Candidate Shriver, the question that we have for you, and keep in mind this is a more personalized question. An everyday man working for everyday people, it was one of the key points on your website. What does this mean to you and for the citizens of District 1?
Well, improving being out with all of out in the community and improving the timeliness of information being shared among the constituents in District 1 would be very important. That's why I use that statement, and also being accessible to the people in the district when there's a need. There's been several times that there were some very serious situations that come up in the community that even before I try to begin to run for city council, that we couldn't get addressed, and a lot of people were affected by it. So I decided that was one of the reasons why I would want to run, because I felt like the communication should be increased between the constituents and the districts and the city council. I felt that it should be more collaboration and more inclusiveness of decisions that's being made that's going to affect the people in the district.
Thank you, Candidate Shriver.
Okay, well, thank you all for your questions and answers. And this is a time that we'll have a closing remarks, and Candidate Daniels will start with you.
I believe that the city of Greenville, and that people don't realize sometimes that we're just a small piece of the decisions made around here. I think it's important that as a community that we stand together to ensure that all some information is assimilated. There is so much going on in Greenville, positive things, negative things. In order for us to move forward, we have to move forward together. It cannot be one person in this fight. We have to ensure that everyone succeeds. Ensuring that everyone succeeds, that means being there for others, listening to others, and fighting for others. Thank you.
Candidate Shriver, your closing remarks.
I believe that some of the comments that I've already made is pretty much paramount for me. Another one of the reasons why I'm running is because of the statistics that show the imbalance in the racial divide in terms of people of color being in the justice system and how they are affected by it. And so with that being said, I'd like to see more inclusiveness as well with respect to issues in north of the river, especially with the cryptocurrency. You know, the city of Greenville has grown tremendously, done a great job, but the citizens that are going to be directly impacted, there should be a economic impact study done and a health impact study to see what happens to them, and we make the best decisions possible collaboratively.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Shriver. Thank you, Candidate Daniels. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you to the candidates.
Testing, testing. Testing.
We will now ask the candidates for the Greenville City Council District 2 Please take the stand at this time.
I moved the microphone to a place of comfort for me. Is that okay? And can you hear me clearly? Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we'd like to welcome both candidates to this forum and thank you for participating. And we're going to start with you, candidate Councilwoman Glover. Could you give us 1 minute and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I I was born and raised in Pitt County and Edgecombe County. I've been here in Pitt County for most of my life, and I attended Pitt County schools. Went away for a while, and attended school in Washington D.C. And so this is home, and it always has been home to me. And I'd like to thank you all for having the forum, because it gets the information out to the people and they actually get to hear and see the candidates at that time as well. It is important that information is always given out to our constituencies and the citizens of Greenville, because everything that we do is very transparent, and we should always be transparent in what we do when we're working for the people. I have been on the Greenville City Council for 23 years. This is my 23rd year. And before that, I was president of the Weed and Seed program, which was a Department of Justice program put on by Attorney General Janet Reno.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right, we're now going to move on to candidate Tanya Foreman. 1 minute, just tell us a little bit about you.
Good morning, and thank you for having us today. My name is Tanya Foreman. Like Rose, I am from Eastern North Carolina. I'm a Pitt County girl. Belvoir is my home, where my roots are, and I was raised in Farmville. Currently, I'm a local entrepreneur. I have a consulting firm called 4 Year Solutions. I also am the founder and chief executive officer of a nonprofit organization called CARE, with which we do voter engagement, social and civic engagement, economic development, and financial literacy. We do youth education and support, and health equity. I am also the member services director at Koinonia Christian Center, and wear a few other hats in the city and the state. I am just looking at this as another opportunity for me to serve.
Thank you to candidates. So we are going to get into some general questions. Each candidate will have the opportunity to answer. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the general question. We will start with candidate Foreman on this question. District 2 has a very economically diverse population. What issues do you feel are common ground, though this form of diversity is so prevalent?
Absolutely. So you're correct. District 2 is a very diverse district. It's a diverse district racially, but it's also a diverse district economically. I think what we need to do to ensure that our district grows along with, and everyone in our district grows along with the rest of the city, is I actually feel like we need improvements in transparency. And I think that there needs to be equity and inclusion. And I think there needs to also be an increase in community engagement. I say that for this reason. We have roughly 11,000 registered voters in our district. I think it was 10,600 voters that voted in the last presidential election. However, for our municipal elections, only 1,275 people voted and participated in our electoral process for the municipal elections. To me, that says we have an issue. For some reason, whether it be during the electoral process or when we have opportunities for engagement, our citizens are not participating. That is not just in District 2, that actually is in every district that we have for Greenville City. So with that being said, as it relates to transparency, we need to proactively get our citizens engaged in decisions that are being made prior to things being discussed. We need to diversify our boards and our committees. Now, we do have usually a few Black people on our committees, but we have a growing Mexican population. And then the other thing is that we need to create communication channels that we can share with them what's going on and give them an opportunity to give us their feedback proactively.
Thank you, Candidate Foreman. Same question to Candidate Glover.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure, absolutely. The question is, District 2 has a very economically diverse population. What issues do you feel are common ground, though this form of diversity is so prevalent?
Well, in District 2 is a very diverse district, but we also have the poorest of the poorest and the richest of the richest in District 2. So we have to collaborate with all of them to make sure that we are working in their interests. District 2 is a very different district, which consists of a lot of the poor communities, like the housing projects, and then all the way out to Dickerson Avenue, all the way out down on Stanford Road. And it's a very diverse district, and it's a very wide district. And it also goes out all the way out by Lowe's and back at Langston's Farms Road. So, but the needs of District 5 are very, I would say, diverse as well. I don't hear from the richest, but I do hear from the poorest. So I try to make sure that I have a good collaboration with the richest, because there are times when I'm going to have to go to them to ask them to support something in my community. And so I try to connect both with them and with the poorest people, because they're the ones that need me more. And they're the ones that call me more. And they're the ones that have more problems. So, and working together with people and bringing different diverse people into District 2 to see how things are and how we would like for things to be. That has always been my goal, and always been my way that I worked to get things into District 2.
Thank you.
All right. Candidate Glover, we're going to start with you again.
Okay.
Most candidates run for an elected position based on their life experience. What experience elevated you to run for this office again?
My experience was with the Weed and Seed program. I did that program when I was still employed at ECU, Department of Cardiology. And I worked on that program because, and I learned a lot about what was being done and what was not being done, how the poor communities were left out when it came down to advocating monies and allotting monies and things for the city. And you almost had to go and beat the door down to get things from the city. Those things that automatically should be available to the poor communities. So I have worked very hard in trying to build things and try to work with people, as I say, who have money, because they can help me get money. You know, they can give us a grant. They can give us money to give out to grant people and give out and rebuild homes and rehab homes and do things that we need in our community. Also, you know, I have the Kearney Park area, and we are having, it's a mixture of homeowners and it's a mixture of housing. So there are a lot of things, and we work collaboration with the Housing Authority, because the Housing Authority are doing some great things here in Greenville, and they are building a lot of things that Greenville need, like senior homes, veteran homes, and so those are the people that we collaborate with. And not only that, there are other businesses that are building senior homes and doing things for our community. If we don't get those things now, we will never get those things. So we have to push to make sure that our voices are heard and the people's voice are heard, because it's not about me. It is about the people that I represent.
All right, thank you. Candidate Foreman, I'm going to ask you the same question. Most candidates run for an elected position based on their life experience. What experience elevated you to run for this office?
Well, candidly, I've been being groomed for this position all my life. I have been involved in community work, civil rights work, and advocating for needs of and interests of our community since at a very young age. My family was very involved with Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SELC. So at a very young age, I was sitting in meetings with my mom, with Golden Franks, Ralph Abernathy, Joseph Lowry. I had the benefit to be at the table at a very young age and listen to them and how they planned to advocate and address issues in the community. The key word there is planned. Every aspect of what they did was planned before they went out in the community. Not also planned, but they were also rehearsed. For that reason, that has become a passion for me all my life. I have always engaged in these areas. As an adult, I lived in the Triangle area for 10 years and was recruited back here in 1999 to manage departments for the WBIS Wellness Center. Since I returned home, I have maintained a consistent presence in this community. I managed 4 departments there for 10 years. The member services director, again, at Koinonia Christian Center, where I work in ministry. Through entrepreneurship, I coach businesses on every aspect of business, and execution training, staff development, service excellence, all of those things. And then, again, the most important thing is that I have a heart to serve. I serve our community in action, not words. We are on the ground all the time. We maintain a consistent presence, and we meet people where they are. That is what makes me good for this role as a representative for the city council.
Thank you. One more general question for both candidates. We'll start with candidate Foreman, and then we'll go to candidate Glover. Much of Vidant is housed in District 2. How would you prioritize healthcare for District 2, and how would you work with Vidant to do so?
I just mentioned that I managed 4 departments for Vidant Wellness for 10 years. In addition to that, my career has been in health education and physical fitness. I have been in health education and physical fitness now for over 30 years. That is one of my passions. Movement is one of my passions. Again, as we talk about District 2, we need to think about the fact that District 2 is a very diverse district. To reiterate what Ms. Rose said, District 2 has the poorest of the poor and the richest. So one of the things that we need to take a look at is that we need opportunities, equal opportunities for preventative wellness. We need to make sure that there are parks in all of our neighborhoods to give our children, and I'm going to take this demographically by age. We need to make sure that there are parks in all of our communities to make sure that our children have the opportunity to play. We also need to ensure that there are safe opportunities for people to engage in physical activity in all of our communities. And then as it relates to our seniors, which is one of my biggest passions also, we need to make sure that there are opportunities that are affordable, because most of them are on a fixed income, for them to participate in preventative wellness activities. Now, that's on the physical fitness level. Now, as we talk about education, I fully believe in information, education, access, and empowerment. So we need to make sure that all of our citizens are informed about what opportunities and resources are there to their avail. Medicaid expansion comes to mind, but I know I don't have time to talk about that this morning. But in addition to that, put out resources in our communities where there's education opportunities on heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and teach preventative opportunities for them to be able to self-sustain and manage their health risks and be leaders and a part of their own healthcare.
Thank you, Candidate
Yes.
Foreman. Same question to Candidate Glover.
All right. Repeat the question.
Sure. The question is, much of District 2, much of Vidant is housed in District 2.
Mhm.
How would you prioritize healthcare for District 2, and how would you work with Vidant to do so?
Very good question. I am on a board that meets with Vidant managers and Vidant president. And so we meet and we talk about the needs in this community, because Vidant is a very important and a very large part of our community. So we meet and we talk about the needs, and we've been able to collaborate with Vidant. There are so many health needs. Being a healthcare person and working with the School of Medicine, I learned that there were so many needs in the community for people who were ill, people who need medicine and all of that. Well, you know, we're surrounded by a great big medical center and a great big university. So what we have to do is to collaborate and pull from those areas, because if we can pull for them, just give us nursing. There's a program in West Greenville that ECU has a medical program in West Greenville. And not only do we want to have it in West Greenville, we want to venture that out so that it is all over District 2 where it is needed, because this is why you have so many people, African-American people, dying from COVID, because they already had underlying health problems that had not been addressed. So we have to really, really work hard and pull any resources that we have that we can get from the university and the medical school and Vidant Hospital, because it is very important. Let us be partners with them, not be enemies with them, because if we are partners with them, then we can get a lot done for our community. There have been a lot of healthcare programs that have been started. And, you know, I'm proud to say that I've been a part of all of those, because when I meet with people, I am very frank. I don't whitewash anything. I say, look at where we are. This is West Greenville. You are West Greenville. You are in the middle of the city, ECU University. You all over the city. So help our people, because there's no reason that anyone should not have proper medical care, health care, or be ill and not have a physician to see, as many as we have. So I want to make sure that that happens. And I always make sure when I talk to them, I am very plain about that, is that you are part of us.
Thank you, Candidate Glover.
All right, on a personal, this is our personal time, you get 1 minute. And for Candidate Foreman, is there something you care to share that most voters don't know about you?
I'm going to answer that question, but I'm going to yield a few moments to revisit that question about Vidant. I managed 4 departments for Vidant for 10 years. One of the issues that we had when I was working for Vidant was that there were trust issues in the community. One of the things that I have done through my organization is that I have been a bridge to bridge that gap of trust, to partner with them, to go in the community and meet people where they are and provide services. We need to continue to do that, and we need to do that consistently enough that we're able to collaborate and provide services for the community. But something that people may not know about me is I actually am introverted and pretty shy.
Is that your answer? Okay. All right. Candidate Glover, you've lived in your district for years. Tell your constituents why you still have new growth for your community.
Why I have what?
New growth
New growth
for your community.
for our community. Why I still have new growth?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because of our collaboration because we have new growth. We have the city, the community is growing. The older houses are being torn down and rebuilt or even rehabbed for new homes for people. We have collaborated with also home builders. And if you would go on Fleming Street, you would see the beautiful homes that they've built on Fleming Street, and also Habitat. So it is a lot going on, and there are some private people who are building homes in our community, and affordable homes that people can afford. We have a housing department here for the city of Greenville, and we are rehabbing homes, and the housing department collaborates with some of the builders to build new homes. It's nice, and a lot of people want to stay in their home because, this was my mama's home and my daddy's home, and I've been here forever. And, and that's why I love West Greenville. I live in West Greenville, and I will always live in West Greenville. I have no desire to move. I love the community, and I love the people.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so that concludes this part of our forum. We thank you both candidates and wish you well.
Again, I want to say thank you, WOW Radio. You're doing an awesome job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again to the candidates. Again, we want to say thank you to the moderators, Mr. Jermaine Columbus, and also to Miss Renee Boston Hill, doing a fabulous job on today, and for all of the candidates. And now we ask the candidates for Greenville City Council District 3 to please take the stand.
Well, welcome, candidate Blackburn. I will say that all candidates have been asked invited to the forum, and we welcome you, and we'll give you 1 minute to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. And first of all, good morning to everyone. And I just want to thank Awesome Radio and Ms. Thigpen for inviting us to have this forum. It's a great opportunity. I've already heard some really interesting reflections from the other candidates. And I will introduce myself. My name is Marion Blackburn. I am from Eastern North Carolina, from Greenville for many years, and I'm a former city council member. I am seeking office again because I've become very concerned about the community and the direction that current leadership is leading our community in. That's why I've come back into politics. And I'm here because I want to make a difference. I want to shift the needle. I want to shift the rudder because right now I'm concerned. I am running on economic development, specifically the Town Common Avenue project, as well as parks and quality of life. Quality of life is infrastructure, and it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate Blackburn. We're going to move on to a more general question. We'll ask the question, and you'll have 2 minutes to answer. In your current campaign, on your current campaign website, you said economic development through excellent quality of life. Could you summarize what this phrase means to you?
Absolutely. And thank you for that question. Thanks for reviewing the website, because that is where I have a lot of my campaign ideas. Economic development, quality of life is economic development. What does that mean? few moments ago, I said that quality of life is infrastructure. Oftentimes, when we look at economic development, we look at things that are not inspiring because we need to plan in a practical way. We look at roads, we look at utilities, we look at water. So these are things that are traditionally thought of as infrastructure that we think about when we're looking at economic development. We need to make sure that we're also looking at quality of life when we're talking about economic development. What does that mean? It means if I'm Apple, if I'm Amazon, if I'm a big company and I'm looking at Greenville, I want to know not only does Greenville have the utility infrastructure, but I want to know that when I bring staff, when I bring my employees and my management, and when I'm looking at customers, that this is a place where we want to be. That's essential for economic development. This is a place where we want to be. And I think it is absolutely vital that Greenville refocus on that. We've lost sight of that. One of the reasons that I am running for this office is, well, first of all, I love policy. I love working in my community. I love listening to the community, and I love making a difference in a positive way. Specifically, I'm concerned about the type of economic development that's been promoted, and I'm very concerned about our parks, specifically when commercial zoning was approved for our town common. To me, that was a kick in the gut. A park is not a place for commercial development. A park is a place that belongs to the people. There should not be obstacles to using our town common. You should not have to pay to use our town common. Thank you.
All right. We do know that the city council is responsible for establishing general policies for the operations of the city. Should you get elected, where would you put your emphasis and the focus in terms of developing and being part of the policy making for Greenville City Council?
Great question. You've asked a policy wonk, someone who adores policy, what kind of policies they'd like to do. The types of policies specifically, that really is wonky to get into the weeds about that. But I'm very interested in, for instance, how are we promoting economic development? One of the policies that I'm really interested in, it's more of a vision or a proposal, is what I call Town Common Avenue. This is where we look at our entire town common area and we look at it as a district. And we say, what can we do to make this more interesting for our community? What can we do to make this more inviting for our community? I think we've got a great start. The town common is a lovely place. And I know that there is some history there that we need to always respect. And I know that we have our Sycamore Hill Plaza, which is one of my favorite places there. And so we need to respect our history. We need to respect who we are and where we want to go. So let's look at the entire town common area. What more can we do to respect our history? What kind of landmarks can we make note of? How can we enhance that area? If we want more activity, is there a way to look not at putting commercial development on the park, but let's look across the street? What can we do across the street where there are areas that are privately owned that we could use for commercial development? So that's one policy, the Town Common Avenue Economic Development Policy. We can look at very simple things like painting areas of the street around the Town Common green. It just makes everything look a little bit more inviting. So that is the economic development package or vision that I'm looking at. In terms of specific policies, as a lot of people know, I am an animal advocate, and I'm actually working at present with Greenville Animal Services on some of their policies for animals.
Thank you.
Next question, 2 minutes to respond. You've made reference to this a couple of times. Downtown seems to be a focal point for commerce in Greenville. How would you advocate for strengthening this? How would you advocate for strengthening this momentum, and what would you like to see come from it in the next 5 years?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Let me think just for a minute. Yes, our downtown is super important. Why is a downtown important? we all kind of know in our heart why downtown is important, but let's just kind of break it apart. A downtown is important because in some ways it's the barometer of the barometer of a city's health. It's also the heart of our city in many ways. We have our Five Points Plaza, we have our Uptown District, our overlay on Evans Street. So this is really a place that kind of says, how's the city doing? Do people have a place that they can gather? The good news is that we do have that. What can we do now to enhance our downtown area? Small businesses are essential. We need to make sure we're supporting our small businesses. From a city perspective, how can we do that? I know that we have incentives, we have grants, we have other ways we can support our small businesses. Let's just take one example. Outdoor dining. That's an area that's of great interest to me, and I think is very important for our downtown, uptown area. We simply need more outdoor dining. I think restaurants would like to do more outdoor dining, but this gets back to the policy question too. What are the policies in place now? Are there any obstacles to outdoor dining? If so, we need to look at those and we need to say, let's make these simpler. Let's make it more accessible for a restaurant to have outdoor dining. Let's look at some of our other businesses. Are they able to do what they need to do to succeed in our downtown area, in our uptown district? Let's look at the arts. Do we have enough public art? I don't know. I don't think you can ever have enough public art. And I think the more public art we can have, the better. This gets at policy as well as vision. And last, I think we need to make sure that people feel safe when they're downtown, that they have the structure in place so that they can come any time of the night or day and enjoy it.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to ask for your closing remarks. You have 1 minute.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you everyone for coming. Thank everyone who is listening on the radio or perhaps watching the live stream. My name is Marianne Blackburn. I am a 3-term city council member. I enjoyed my time on council. If you're wondering about my commitment, I think the fact that the folks who are here today shows their commitment and their desire to connect with voters. I am very accessible and I'm very transparent, and those are values that I will bring to the city council if elected. I enjoy the work. I love public policy, and I want to contribute to my community in a positive way. I think I've got a track record that shows that I'm willing to do that, and I'm willing to work hard and willing to be responsive. I think that people will tell you that even when we don't agree, I listen, and I listen respectfully, and I will provide reasons for why I have a certain position, and I will certainly listen to yours. So please vote for me on May 17th and during early voting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again to the candidate. Also, if there are any elected officials present who does not have an election in 2022 or may be a Pitt County Board of Education official, they will be asked to stand and announce themselves. Are there any at this time? Okay, thank you so much. We will have a 10-minute break. A 10-minute break. Again, thank you to the moderators who are doing a fabulous job.
Testing 1, 2, testing. So, your expertise can grow your district. So you have next step out there. We only do one person. And for him, this is all good. She's in the job.
Well, it doesn't matter. We can just do. Just be one general. Okay, yeah, make this the other general. And personal. And this.
I'm going to drink this now.
I'm gonna just sit down for a few minutes.
Okay.
And this, we're gonna make this our personal.
Okay.
And which way do you have any expertise from government district?
Yes.
So you have this in order?
Mhm.
I know what she said, but I don't know her. So we do the introduction,
Mhm.
general, one, general two, personal, and closing. Okay. So almost over.
We're almost there. That's a good ratio. That's a really good ratio.
You can't really beat it. And I just thought, you know, this is, so sometimes you just don't know what to say. It's kind of get them all. That's enough.
Yeah,
It just can't, because
it happens that way.
it does. So, just go, this is over. And I was supposed to be a good weather day.
Yes.
So, yes. So we're gonna go right from this into the last one, which is be the mayor. Yes. Okay, yes. Did, one of you want to read about the lawyers? Or do you want me to read? You can read it. Well, she will be coming up. So I can just ask her some of these same questions. She's already been coming with years and been really invested, but she's here.
Again, welcome to this candidate forum for Greenville City Council, Mayor, and Pitt County Board of Commissioners, District 1. We thank you so much for all of the candidates that have participated so far. And also we are thankful for our moderators who are doing a wonderful job, Mr. Jermaine Columbus and Ms. Renee Boston Hill. So we are going to continue on with our forum. The candidates for the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, District 1, please take the stand. We also want to remind you, do not forget to early vote during April the 28th through May the 14th. If you are unsure where you should go to cast your vote on May the 17th, 2022, please contact the Pitt County Board of Elections 252-902-1000, or they're located at 1717 West 5th Street in Greenville.
Good morning and welcome to the Candidate Forum. We do know that there's an election coming up for the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, District 1. And we're going to start by giving, from the left, giving you 1 minute to tell us a little bit about yourself. And we welcome you, Candidate Mildred D. Sneed.
Yes, good morning, everyone. And I want to thank Channel 23, GPAT, for having me here this morning to elaborate on some things that I believe in if I am elected as the Pitt County, Pitt County, let me just calm down for a second. I'm a little nervous. Okay. As an elected official for Pitt County. So I do apologize for being somewhat nervous this morning. I'm going to calm down. Just give me a minute to warm up. But I am the youngest of 10 children, and I have lived in Pitt County all of my life. I went to the schools in Pitt County, and I have worked in Pitt County schools for 40 years.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Candidate Ann Floyd Huggins, could you just give us 1 minute and tell us about yourself, please?
Good morning. I'm also a little nervous, Mildred, so you're not by yourself. I first want to thank Awesome Radio for giving us this opportunity to provide information to the community about our candidacy. I am a native of Greenville, Pitt County, and I am currently serving as your county commissioner representing District 1. My family is here in Greenville. I've lived most of my life here in Greenville, and I am a member of the Sycamore Hill Missionary Baptist Church, where I'm the chairperson of the trustee board there, and I am active in the community, serving on several boards and here in Pitt County. And so I enjoy working as a county commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you to both candidates for showing this morning. And as we get the nervousness off.
Yeah. I'm going to warm up.
All right. We have some general questions that we would like to ask you. Each candidate has 2 minutes to answer. And we will start with candidate Hudgens. The question that we have for you this morning is, on any level of government, the economy is a topic in which all citizens are concerned about. As county commissioner, what would be your priorities for the economic growth in the district you would serve?
What would be my?
The question was, what would be your priorities for the economic growth in the district you would serve?
Okay. As just not for my district, but I believe when you work for all of the people, you work for your district also. So when you're county commissioner, you're representing, even though you run and represent a district, but what you vote on things that will impact all of the citizens. So I will be looking at job opportunities, recruitment for companies to come to Pitt County and in order to provide jobs for improve the quality of life for not just my district, but for the whole Pitt County.
Thank you. Candidate Steve, same question to you. Would you?
Okay, would you please repeat that?
Yes, ma'am, I will. On any level of government, the economy is a topic in which all citizens are concerned about. As county commissioner, what would be your priorities for the economic growth in the district you would serve?
Okay. I do believe that the economic growth in my district is very, very important. A great many people, it's not as diverse as some of the other districts, but it is diverse. I do believe that people are pretty much hurting everywhere. So economic development is a concern for everyone. I would work to bring about any help and any initiatives that anyone would have to help District 1 to grow and be economically sound. I do believe that District 1 could use economic development, and whatever I could do to make sure that the people in District 1 grow economically.
The second general question, 2 minutes for each to respond. And we'll start with you, Candidate Commissioner Huggins. If this were a town hall style meeting and the citizens of District 1 were here, what would they tell you are their pressing priorities for the next elected county commissioner?
What would they tell me their needs are?
Yes.
Okay, I believe they would tell me their needs are jobs, opportunities, housing, and education, improvement in education. So.
Okay. All right. Candidate Sneed, the same question. If this were a town hall style meeting and the citizens of District 1 were here, what would they tell you are their pressing priorities for the next elected county commissioner?
I do believe that they would tell me several things. I have been out going door to door, and I've heard different things from people who are in District 1. One of the things that I happen to know about District 1 is that District 1 has a great many senior citizens. A great many of them are elderly, and they are concerned about the properties that they have. They are concerned about the conditions of which they live. They are concerned about a great many things. I've noticed that not very many of them are all that young, but I do know that they are still concerned about their life and their lifestyles. So I do believe that if the District 1 constituents were in this town hall meeting, if there were one, I do believe they would want to know what would I want to do to help senior citizens in that area.
All right, we're going to ask the personal questions now. 1 minute to respond, or 2 minutes to respond. Candidate Sneed, in which way do you feel your expertise can grow your district?
I feel that my expertise can grow the district in that I will rally for growth and development in that district. A lot of people are concerned about their properties and they want their properties to be maintained. And so I would rally around growth and development for the district, and that people's property value don't go down. A lot of them are concerned about that. There are people who are working on their homes, even though they're elderly. I was just at a person's house yesterday, and she's elderly, but she had someone working on the roof of her house. Now, I know that elderly people don't have a lot of money. Most of them are on fixed income, but she was very concerned about the structure of her home. So as a lot of them, you can go by and see them in the yard working on this, working on that. They have pride in what they have. So I would definitely rally behind any economical development that would allow seniors to have pride and continue to have pride in their surroundings. Mhm.
And this question will be for candidate Hudgens. On your Facebook, you stated that it is important to explore innovative ideas to make our families and communities stronger. What ideas have you explored in the past and are planning to explore in the future?
In order to make,
In order to make families and communities stronger.
okay, in order to make families and communities stronger. Okay, I believe that we should listen to the community. In fact, when we're getting ready to spend the ARP money, that's the American Rescue Fund, $35 million that Pitt County has. So we went out into the community and provided an opportunity for the community to have input into how we would spend this money or how we should spend this money. So I believe that if we continue to provide information and to the community about the different kinds of programs and offer structured programs to improve education, improve health, improve recreation, economic development, that this will improve the quality of life of my district and all of Pitt County.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is a chance where you get to give your closing remarks. You have 1 minute, and we'll start with candidate Huggins.
Oh, well, again, I want to thank Awesome Radio for giving us this opportunity to speak to the community. And I offer myself to continue to serve the citizens of Greenville and Pitt County in the position as County Commissioner representing District 1. I am very involved in the community. I didn't just start. I started at the grassroots level, going door to door, registering people to vote, finding out what their needs are. And if I am asking that the citizens of District 1, that you vote for me and Floyd Huggins to continue serving you. I have the experience and I definitely have the passion to continue to represent you in District 1. So,
Thank you. Candidate Sneed, would you give your closing remarks, please?
Yes, I'd like to thank Channel 23 once again for having me here, and all of you who are in the audience for listening to me this morning. And I'd like to say, I do believe that I am the best candidate for the job. I bring about a great wealth of experience, having been an educator for 40 years. I understand politics. I understand how it works. I would like very much to serve my community as I have for 40 years. I believe that I have the energy, the stamina, the experience as a politician in the classroom, in the schools, to bring about change and also to make a difference.
All right, we thank you both.
Sure.
Thank you again to all of the candidates thus far. We will continue on with the candidates for the Pitt County Board of Commissioners, District 2. Please
Testing,
take the
1, 2.
stand.
Testing.
Mary Perkins Williams does not have a primary. Her name will not be on the ballot for May 17th.
Well, welcome, Commissioner Mary Perkins Williams. We're just going to allow you to address the audience. You can tell them a little bit about your projects that you have going on. Since you don't have a candidate running against you, feel free to talk.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank Awesome Radio for allowing me to at least address the audience today and the communities throughout Pitt County. This has been an interesting day today, and this is the first one of this type. I like it. I want to say that the projects that I have, I've been very concerned in this position as a District 2 representative for Pitt County. Everybody look at Pitt County District 2 as being ugly, worn out, poor, deprived. All we need to do is pick up the trash. When we pick up the trash in our yard and go across the street, if there's no house, and we pick up the trash across the street, that's economic development. It doesn't cost anything for you to take a minute every day to do that. And then we can recruit development. We can recruit good businesses. We can be proud of the place that we live, because we will be sending a message to everyone that we love the place we call home. Because look at it, it's beautiful. Greenville is dynamic, and Pitt County makes it best. And I want you to know that no matter what you do, no matter where you live, in the city, in the county, or in the outlining areas around the county, Greenville is the place to be, and Pitt County holds it all. We are the best in the East, and we invite you to come and live, grow, and play, and spend your tax dollars right here in Pitt County. And above all, vote. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, voting is important, because voting say that you're participating in this thing we call government. Be honest with yourself, be honest with your neighbors, and embrace all ideas, all people, and everything you do, be the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are going to continue on. Next,
Testing.
the candidates for Greenville City Mayor, please take the stand.
Okay, I'd like to welcome you, candidate Lyles. We'll start also by saying all candidates who are in this running for this position have been invited, and we thank you for coming.
Thank you for the
We
opportunity.
give you 1 minute to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Liz Lyles, and I'm running for mayor because I believe that the voices of the people should lead the work and drive the decisions that are being made. I am a graduate of an HBCU, Fayetteville State University. I hold an executive certificate in nonprofit leadership from Duke University, and I'm also a current student at ECU pursuing my master's in social work. I am also the founder and chief executive officer of Daughters of Worth. We are a nonprofit organization that serves girls and young ladies throughout our community, providing mentorship, advocacy, emergency needs, trauma-informed therapeutic services, and making certain that the girls of our communities are protected, safe, and loved. And that work has driven me to this space to advocate for all people and ensure that we are meeting the needs that every single person has the ability to prosper, succeed, and thrive.
Thank you, candidate Lyles. Did I pronounce it right?
That is, yes, sir.
All right. We have a more personalized question for you. You'll have 2 minutes to answer. The question is, in reference to the One Greenville Work Initiative, in what ways have both business owners and potential employees benefited from this initiative thus far?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I have seen that it has already been beneficial to provide people with the opportunity to share their voice. People simply want to be heard. They want to know that they are being listened to, that they are provided with every single resource and opportunity to know how they can best serve our community, how they can provide for their families, and how they can grow their business. But the truth is, we cannot support people if we don't even know what their issues are. We cannot represent people and their voices and leadership if we're not taking the time to go where they are and to hear their concerns and receive their feedback. We have to be intentional in this relationship building and going in with authenticity and making certain that we're not coming in from our agenda, but going in to listen to what they actually need. And so by simply just taking the time to go in and to sit with business owners, such as one of my favorite restaurants, Coffee and Spice. Absolutely love this restaurant. Had the chance to go in and to listen to this, to the owners and to hear some of their concerns and how there was funding that was available that they were not even made aware of. Transparency is such a crucial part of this work. Elected officials are here to represent and serve the people. But if we're not going to the people, if we're not listening to their needs, if we're not taking all of the resource that we collectively have as a city and intentionally providing that for our business owners, then we are hurting our city, we're hurting our families, and we are working against the initiatives. We are not Greenville working towards business if we're not providing every business and every person with that equal opportunity. So simply by just taking the time to go in, to talk with people, and to let them know that they are being heard, we have already seen a positive impact from that.
Okay. A general question for you that you'll have 2 minutes to respond. We, the mayor, and city council are responsible for establishing general policies for operations of the city, as well as appointing the city manager. What about this particular position do you feel that your work experience, your past life, you can bring the city of Greenville together as a mayor?
I love that question. I'm not a politician. I am a woman who loves this city and who is here to bring change. I have been actively serving our community boots on the ground for the past 7 years, making certain that our young ladies and our families are sheltered, that they have food on the table at night, that they are clothed, that they have employment opportunities. In order for us to successfully advocate for all people, again, we have to be going to where they are and making certain that we are doing everything that we can to represent people and to ensure that we are removing barriers that are preventing them from being successful. So that means that we're intentional in economic development. That means we're intentional with inclusion. That means we're intentional with making certain that that we are working collectively in collaboration with community partners to ensure that every single person has the opportunity that they need to succeed and thrive.
Thank you for that. Another question that we have here, you just mentioned being intentional about inclusion. One Greenville is something that we've seen on your platforms. One Greenville is a phrase that you hear everywhere that you go. What does it mean to you, and what is your vision for getting the citizens of Greenville involved and more informed?
One Greenville is a platform that is built to make certain that we are not leaving people out, that we are not leaving districts out. When we talk about economic development, we have to make certain that we are providing economic opportunity throughout the entire city. This means that we are bridging the gap between those who are needing employees and making certain that we are able to attain those employees by providing the skills, the training, the education necessary in order to get those people employed. We are working together to make certain that we collectively are using every opportunity that we have to come together in solidarity and unity, that we are intentional about removing barriers. So, for example, there was a study conducted 5 years ago to assess and analyze our need of student living. That study that was conducted concluded that we already have an oversaturated city with student living that is here. Yet when you look at the recent data that has come out from the North Carolina Human Relations Council, this data states that we need a 75% increase in market rate housing. If we're going to be intentional about having a healthy and thriving community, then we have to begin by taking care of the needs of the people. If we are neglecting the needs of the people, if we are making decisions that go against our Horizons land use policy plan, if we are making decisions that do not reflect our people and do not place them in a position that they can succeed and thrive, and yet even placing them in further at risk and marginalized situations because of the decisions that are being made by this council, then there's an issue. And we need someone who's willing to stand up with authenticity and be willing to give a voice and change that direction.
Candidate Lyles, if elected as mayor, how would you, or what skills do you bring that you can get into the listening of the rest of the city council people? You don't have a vote, however, you will vote if if it need be. But tell us the skills that you bring, if elected as a mayor, to get the balancing of the city council.
Anyone who is in a nonprofit industry has one rule of thumb: we don't work in silos. We collaborate, we listen, we do the hard and gritty work that's often not noticed, the things that a lot of people do not even recognize. I have personally been followed by traffickers as I have helped young ladies exit from their trafficking situations. Our organization has personally spent over $65,000 this past year providing safety and shelter for more than 35 young ladies. We have fed hundreds of people. I'm the one who's making certain that our girls get to their health care appointments so they have access to the resources that they need. In order for us to serve a community, we have to have someone who is coming in from a space where they're willing to listen to the people, you're willing to learn from the lived experiences of other people, and you're bold and courageous and coming at this from a service capacity. I want to be very clear on one thing. I'm not here to profit from this opportunity. My friends are not profiting from this opportunity. I am here as a servant leader, a woman who's already been serving for the past 15 years, making certain that our community has what they need, making certain that our girls are safe and sheltered and fed and clothed. And if we're going to be serious and intentional about building and developing a city that is for all people, that means we have to be intentional about removing removing the barriers that are creating the gaps and the needs and the disparities. And you need someone who not only understands those needs, but who is here in the community, who's already been establishing those relationships, who already has those collaborations and partnerships, and who is simply willing to expand that to a larger capacity. And I am ready and willing to do this work.
Okay. All righty. Is there something you care to share that most voters don't know about you?
What I want people to know about me is that I'm here and I am committed. Again, I'm not here to expand my name or my platform. I'm here because I love our city. I came into this city in 2013 as a single mom of 3 boys. I have a nonprofit income. I know what it's like to have to make certain that you can take care of the needs of your children and also afford to pay your rent and your utilities. I know what that feels like. I also have seen, because of the work that I am doing, the needs that we have for people to have a safe place to live that they can afford. I understand that if we're not intentional with providing people with safe and affordable housing, we're not going to be able to retain the young professionals we want to in this community. We have to have an opportunity for people to have reentry opportunities. We need to be intentional about making certain that people have the opportunity to have the jobs and training and skills necessary to generate the life that they want. And we have to have someone who's willing and who understands those needs, who can advocate.
We'll have closing remarks. Candidate Lyles, you have 1 minute.
I just, again, want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. Again, I am here for the people. At the end of the day, I believe that the voices of the people should lead the work and drive the decisions that are being made. We need to make certain that we are doing every single thing possible that we can possibly do from our end to make certain that people have the basics of life. In order to have the things that we need here, people have to have their basic needs met. It all comes back to Maslow's hierarchy, and just making certain that people have access to jobs. They want to have a sustainable income. They want to provide for their families. They want to have a safe place to live that they can afford. They want to have food on the table. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want to have a safe place to live. We want to build and develop our businesses. We want to make certain that we can create the life that we want. But in order for that to be true and for every person to have that equal opportunity, we have to be putting policy in place that makes it possible and not putting things in place that make it more difficult for people to attain that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again to all candidates who participated today in the forum. Thank you again to the moderators, also to Awesome Radio and GPAC 23. This will conclude our live streaming. Thank you so much for tuning in on today. We encourage everyone to study the candidates' platform and ask those questions. Hold them accountable, pray, and vote consciously. Thank you, candidates, for your time to allow us to get to know you better. God bless your campaign.